Each day we get calls about pedestrian accidents, and at some level I always wonder, are there really that many pedestrian accidents? Or just one of these things where we get calls every day because we advertise for personal injury? I had my law clerk look at it, and the statistics are actually kind of astonishing. 3 out of 4 pedestrian accidents we know, one of the reasons we get so many calls, do occur in urban environments. They occur at intersections, and they occur in large part at nighttime. More than a third of all the pedestrian accidents we've learned have some sort of alcohol involvement. Statistically, what's amazing is a pedestrian will be involved in an accident in this country every 8 minutes. So every 8 minutes there's a pedestrian accident, and one pedestrian is killed every 2 hours in an accident this year. In our pedestrian accidents, what we do and what our main concern is, obviously, right away, is finding fault and making sure there's no contributory negligence. Fault in the urban environment is actually relatively easy to find out, because we're looking at the crosswalk, whether the person was in the crosswalk, whether they had the signal, when they left, was the signal blinking, everything with respect to the intersection. In a non-urban environment, it's somewhat more complicated because there is no crosswalk. We deal at times with what's called dart-out cases. People run into the street. Those are more factual. There depends on what the investigation concludes: speed, skid marks. A lot of things go into those, which is much more difficult for our investigators, whereas the facts in the city depend on the intersection itself, what that person was doing in the intersection, the person who hit them, and the person who was walking across the street. And of course, in today's world, what we're frequently seeing, we're seeing that people who are calling us are often texting while they're crossing the street. And at some level, a fair amount of those cases are not something that we can take in Maryland or Virginia, because those people are contributory negligent.